live on your phone or mobile device.
And shut the hell up, fish. We're live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Golly! Breaking news.
Early breaking news.
Early breaking news. David Blough cut by the Detroit Lions. Very, very interesting. Not surprised. I wouldn't say I'm surprised. Is there any issue with his knee? I'm not sure. Obviously, at the end of Hard Knocks episode last night, he was a bit discomfort. But Nate Sudfeld. That's who the Lions are reportedly looking to sign. Jeff, the floor is yours because I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it this morning.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it with any Cam Newton talk in the prior days.
I agree with you.
I'm not doing Colin Kaepernick this morning. I'm not doing any of this crap. I'm so done with it. It's a backup. Jared Goff has looked phenomenal all camp. Jared Goff is your starting quarterback. That is who you should be talking about and worrying about. If you have to talk about a backup quarterback at any point in the season, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Did we get that?
No, yeah.
Cool?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so what time is it? 8:01? Cool. So we're not going to do this anymore after this. I just want to set a reminder, and then, Jeff, it's all you do because I'm not doing it. If David Blough, Nate Sudfeld, Moses, my mom, I don't care who it is, if we're talking about a backup quarterback this season with the Lions, pay attention. Get the earwax out. You're fucked. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Adam. No, I didn't, honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't put too much thought into it. The only thing I kind of questioned, I guess you could say, is David Blough at least started 5 games already in his career. Nate Sudfeld hasn't ever started a game in his career. So I guess if you're looking for a backup who has at least that experience, I don't know why you'd cut David Blough. I get it. I mean, it's not like David Blough blew us away. But at the same time, it's not like Nate Sudfeld has ever blown us away. So, again, it's a worthless conversation, Adam, because regardless to the point you just made, if Jared goes down, Nate Sudfeld or David Blough is not saving your season. They might win a game, but it doesn't matter at that point. So, I don't really have thoughts on it. I guess my question would be specifically why David Blough? I mean, to bring in a guy like Nate Sudfeld who has no experience, it must be an injury. It must be something, because if we're talking based off just backup, a guy who can start games if needed, not that you want him to, but he could, David Blough's done it for 5 games. So that's the only, not that, David's better than Nate Sudfeld. He's at least started games, Adam. That's kind of where I'm coming from.
Fair. I think I would argue he's probably hurt then.
That's probably most likely it.
He did show some grit in the final preseason game against Pittsburgh.
Dan Campbell calls him scrappy. He's a scrappy guy.
Yeah, look, let's get right into the 53-man roster, the initial one, although now we have the updated with David Blough being released. So it seems to me there are still a few moves that are going to be made. It looks, reportedly, Justin Jackson will be on this football team. Some way, somehow, they're going to find a way. That has been circled around this morning. But, Jeff, Jamar Jefferson makes the team. I think I don't want to say, one, I'm surprised. Like, I'm floored by the decision. But that is RB4.
Right.
And Jackson would have been RB3 or 4. And you saw in the episode of Hard Knocks last night, what does Craig Reynolds bring to the table? Outside of he's going to run through the tackles, he's going to be physical, and he's going to run the ball very hard. Pass protection.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive linemen love him.
Coaches love him. Yeah.
Right? So you kind of understand that dynamic there. Chase Lucas making the 53-man roster, that was nice. That was nice. I know A.J. Parker, a lot of people were very happy with how he played last year in the Lions uniform, but the fact they have a 7th-round pick making the 53-man roster at a position, let's be honest, these coaches and this staff and this front office really can't afford to mess up right now,
right? Given
all the uncertainty going on at corner. That I found it impressive. I was happy for Chase Lucas. And if we're honest, 4 tight ends, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense with what this team's identity is going to be.
And you heard Ben Johnson at halftime in the locker room. He's like, guys, we have to run the football. We have to establish play action. That's what's going to get this job done. So our predictions are true. And I think it goes back to, I'm just going to make a point about Chase Lucas real quick. We talk about all the time, when you know, you know. And you didn't take long for us to see Chase Lucas out there making plays. He dropped an interception. He had that onside recovery against the Steelers. And listen, I liked A.J. Parker as well, but these are the tough decisions you have to make. As Dan Campbell, you saw in Hard Knocks, him and Brad Holmes struggling to do. Dan Campbell is basically in tears over it because he understands that like you're going to have to cut someone you don't want to cut. And that's going to be A.J. Parker. I think he deserves to be on a roster somewhere. But to your point, Chase Lucas, 7th-round pick, coming out of the draft, 25 years old, the maturity he has, and right away made an impact. So I'm cool with it. I honestly, I had no problems with the cuts. I'm happy we kept Craig Reynolds. That was the one guy that I was really hoping we kept because it felt like not only am I rooting for him, he's a good player. And for your 3rd, 4th running back, that's great value. I'm surprised Jamar Jefferson is still on the team, and you saw the clip on Hard Knocks, him getting whacked with the band. But other than that, Adam, not surprised by any of these cuts, I'm going to be honest with you.
All right. I know it's difficult for everybody this morning. Breaking news. David Blough cut by the Lions. Right?
Breaking.
The backup quarterback of a 3-13-1 football team has been cut this morning. I know it's difficult. We're all going to get through this together, okay? One more time. David Blough, Nate Sudfeld, Jeff Iafrate, Moses, my mother. If we're talking about the Lions' backup quarterback this season, say it with me. You're fucked. Jesus Christ. Guys, come on. We're better than this.
Yeah. If we're talking about the backup quarterback, I don't want to talk. That's how it is.
4 tight ends, you're probably going to see a lot of... look, the reality is 2 tight end sets. You're going to have tight ends lining up at fullback with Kabinda down.
Yep.
Now, again, there's nothing I can take away from the 53-man roster where I'm going to say, oh, controversy! SOL! There's nothing. It's a 53-man roster. You kind of had a really good idea who was going to get cut. Were you surprised Justin Jackson didn't make the team? Yeah, he played very well. But, all the time, Tom Kennedy people, save me the shit. All right? Oh, Tom Kennedy did not make the team. Really? Really? Look, I know the team has sucked for a very long time. Believe me, they haven't won a division, let alone a freaking playoff game since I've been born. All right? It's not easy. I get it. But can we just all do one thing? Try to, take out as much stupid as we have from us from previous regimes, please? So I don't have to hear, Tom Kennedy broke out in the preseason. Really? Really? You think he's better than St. Brown? No, you don't. Yeah. Josh Reynolds? I trust Josh Reynolds more than Tom Kennedy. Josh Reynolds has good rapport with Jared Goff.
And he's done it in game.
DJ
in regular
Chark.
Season, yep.
You got Jameson on the PUP list. Quintez Cephas. Look, I'm not a fan. Just can't stay healthy. Fan of the talent, but Tom Kennedy. Who was the guy, the wrestler? Kennedy! That guy?
That's Neil Rule's guy.
Is it? No way.
Because he was doing that impression after Tom Kennedy had the big game.
No
he
way.
Kept saying
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know Neil was upset about the whole Tom Kennedy thing. The reality is, if anything, this speaks to kind of the amount of depth you have at wide receiver. Tom Kennedy's probably going to make a roster somewhere, but I'm not going to sit here and pound the table for Tom Kennedy. I think there's enough talent. You saw Trinity Benson was cut as well, another guy that we talked about yesterday. But I'm good with this. I like the receivers going into the regular season. You got Jamison Williams coming back midway through. It's about 6 weeks in. We're chilling. We're good.
Team's good. The team's in a good position. Yes, there are holes. Yes, you have question marks. A lot of teams have question marks. Are the Detroit Lions a team you believe are going to be contending for a Super Bowl?
No.
Are the Detroit Lions a team you believe are going to be contending for the NFC Championship game?
Not this year, no.
Are the Detroit Lions a team you believe will be contending for a wild card spot very seriously?
No. Maybe.
And do you believe they're going to be contending in their own division?
No. I got them third in their division.
Are they the best team in their division?
No, I got them third.
The second best team.
No.
So, again, you were 3-13-1 last year. You like what the GM is doing. So far, again, Hard Knocks is made, by the way, just so everybody understands, it is made for the national viewing, not just Detroit Lions supporters. So locally, reprogram your brain a little bit going into the last episode, but you've seen Dan Campbell. He has this locker room pretty sewn up. It's pretty buttoned up, and they're very bought in, Jeff. And we take for granted players buying in. You have to buy in. Whether or not he can coach, whether or not he can win in the NFL, etc., all that stuff is irrelevant if you don't have anybody buying into you.
Right.
We saw it happen day one with Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia came in. There was an okay roster here. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a roster that should have finished, 4-12?
Yeah, they spent money in the offseason that year.
That should never have happened. But you know what? It didn't happen. There was never a buy-in. So that even when you got a pick six with a, quote, defensive-minded coordinator against a rookie quarterback game one, it didn't matter.
Slipped out of your hands.
You still fell apart.
Yeah.
This team is coming together. It's not a finished product. There are players that we may like now that will not be part of this team in the future. But there's one player who I won't say is my biggest takeaway from Hard Knocks Episode 4, but reassured me on everything I've been not only saying but believing internally. Jared Goff is going to have a very good season. Jared Goff is going to have a very good season. Now, again, very good season for Jared Goff. Not for you, not compared to Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow or one of these franchise players. No. But Jared Goff. Jared Goff's going to be really good. And I think you'll see more of Jared Goff down the stretch last year in those 4 games he started, and then you will see the Jared Goff under Anthony Lynn. I truly believe that. He's more confident than ever. He's more confident in the playmakers around him. He has Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm. We'll get to Jared Goff, Ben Johnson, that confidence, that relationship after last night's episode, what it means for the Lions. Does it change your opinion on how many games they win? We'll get to all that around, 8:30. Coming up next, our Detroit Lions Hard Knocks takeaways. Episode 4, in my opinion, the best episode so far. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. Top of the hour. I think you all know what's going to happen. I think you all know. We
got to get to it eventually.
You think they're going to air an episode of fucking Ben Johnson, and I'm not going to dedicate a whole goddamn segment to it? 9 o'clock, welcome to the Ben Johnson Show. We'll get to that at the top of the hour. St. Brown at 9:30. Have a few guests on. We'll see how the day goes. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff, I need you to tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Cintron.
I got you. Because, guys, listen, I get it. You're drinking the Lions Kool-Aid. But on top of that, drink some Cintron. Because Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry. They have classic, sugar-free, all in one pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
And we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. A beautiful Wednesday morning. Jeff, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good.
How's your night?
It was good. Watch some Hard Knocks, watch a little UFC, and I can't sleep every time they play this Hard Knocks, man. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm on Twitter, I'm up, especially last night's episode. It was got kind of deep, and you got to see like the raw emotion of I guess what coaches and general managers have to go through every single offseason. So I kind of liked it, but at the same time, I didn't like how you already knew who was cut, and then you watched,
Unfortunate.
and they teased who was cut. It's like,
Unfortunate.
but
I mean,
it's
but
a
you
reality.
knew it was going to happen. It was on
Right.
Tuesdays. We knew the cut day ahead of schedule. But look,
I'm just
the next week's episode, you'll probably be let down because you kind of already know who's going to get cut.
yeah.
So that's a spoiler alert. But that was the best episode of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
That's what Hard Knocks should be, in theory, almost every episode. That was jam-packed.
Highlighting players, highlighting coaches.
First takeaway, my biggest takeaway, Jared Goff and Ben Johnson.
2 peas in a pod.
You're going to be saying that all season. Jared Goff, Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, Ben. Get used to saying it. It's going to be a very good combination. I like the working relationship. I loved what I saw out of Ben Johnson, obviously. We'll get to him later on, but my biggest takeaways, or at least my first biggest takeaway, definitely was Ben Johnson. His communication skills. Jared Goff, confidence level, probably at an all-time high for the kid. I mean, let's all be fair. Our jobs are to be fair, too. Mm-hmm. You get traded from the team that drafted you. They gave away 2 first-round picks to get rid of you. For a quarterback who actually at the time had less playoff wins and division wins than you did. And you come to probably the worst situation in the NFL. No wide receivers, an injured offensive line, injured backfield, injured tight end, a defense that can't stop anybody if their lives depended on it. And you know the rest. And he struggles. And he struggles for confidence. And he struggles with... Fish, what the hell are you doing, you jackass? Get your shit together. Struggles for confidence.
Oh, Lord.
And then you see over camp, he's been arguably the best player all of camp. Joint practices, he's been lighting up opposing defenses, not just the Lions defense. You've seen him in the drives that he's been in the game, efficient, throwing the ball well, the connection to St. Brown. Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, my biggest takeaways. Huge winners last night.
On top of that, one thing that that stood out to me the most is how different of a 180 Dan Campbell in this regime is from Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. And you saw it. The first thing that Dan Campbell said when they got back from Indianapolis, he didn't even get into the game. He said, "Thank you guys for being good people. Thank you for treating the hotel employees with respect." That's the type of guy that Dan Campbell is. And you saw him struggle, especially towards the end, getting emotional about the guys he had to cut, sitting in his office alone. Like, just the people in this building are just completely different. Like, just the culture. And you talk about culture, and yes, you have to win games to instill culture. But one thing I noticed about Dan is you got to love him as a human being. Because really, I mean, he loves his players. That's what I took away. It's how refreshing this regime is as opposed to last regime, because you saw it. Hey guys, I'm gonna let you guys lead practice. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna observe. I'm gonna butt in when needed. But it's just different, trying things. I think he took that from Bill Parcells, so that was interesting. Another thing that I took away, and it's a little bit of a worry, and we knew this, Adam, that defense. I mean, Aaron Glenn, and I love this about Aaron Glenn. It's almost like it's a us versus them. Ben Johnson versus Aaron Glenn. It's this little competitiveness. You see it. All the coaches are competitive, which I love. Another thing that stood out to me. Jared Goff in practice, 16 for 18 against the defense. Aaron Glenn chews out the entire defense, picks up the linebackers in the secondaries. He picks out them specifically. And that's really Ben Johnson talking about it as well, walking, and we'll get to it later, telling everyone to buckle up. And he also said, he's like, Aaron Glenn didn't even say anything to me when I walked by him. Like, that's the type of attitude these guys have going into practice. Like, I'm not talking to you, man. Like,
competition.
This is competition. And that's something that I love. Because, again, what did Aaron Glenn say last night? Guys, that's losing football. What you just did out there. That's losing football. And the fact that you're preaching this to a team that had 3 wins last year, trying to instill that every time you walk out on that field, you have a mindset of, I'm going to win this, either offensively or defensively. That's what I took away, man, is how different this regime is. Complete 180 from the past regime. It's refreshing. And another thing is that defense getting lit up. And we talk, listen, the pass rush looked good, but that's the linebacker core in the secondary, Adam. And I know we're pretty much just preaching at the choir at this point. That's going to be a thing to watch come the regular season. There's a lot of guys you like, Malcolm, Chase Lucas, Amani Warrior, Jeff Okudah, but we're going to have to see it, in person, because you got Philly week 1, and that's a team that, on paper, if Jalen Hurts is that guy, can make a Super Bowl, I think, or at least an NFC championship. So they're going to get tested week 1, Adam, and that's kind of what I took away. Another thing is Ben Johnson, which we'll get to later, but just those two things stood out to me the most.
Another thing that caught my eye, and I didn't fully understand it at first, and that was the player-only practice. And I won't lie to you, Jeff. It didn't do much for me in the episode. It didn't. It didn't move me. It wasn't overwhelmingly impressive. It seemed like a good time for the players, a good time for them to communicate, show leadership on the field, which, again, I don't mind. But then I slept on it a little bit, and I woke up this morning. I said, you know what? You have to do things every now and then that are different, shock the body, shock people, right? You can't just be on the same routine every single day. The message gets dull. And going into a season, I think what Dan Campbell has done is he has become a night and day difference, or I would say he's allowed himself to grow first, and I see the night and day difference from when he was here last year at this exact point up until 365 days later to this moment. There's a night and day difference. I mean, he's got him bought in. His communication is much better than before. I think it was undersold in the beginning, given, one, they sucked to start last season, and two, the reality was you were kind of shocked with some of his comments. He's not making those mistakes anymore.
No, he looks more comfortable.
Has anybody been talking about Dan Campbell being a quote machine? That was the conversation going into the regular season. The guy's a quote machine. He can't stop hitting. The media loves Dan Campbell because of all the quotes. That's it. That's all it was. This year, I haven't heard a goddamn word. I haven't heard a credible beat reporter, a credible writer come out and say, man, loving this Dan Campbell guy. Really making good stuff for us to write about here. No, none. Football related. He's pretty locked in. I don't know what it means for a football team this year, because I don't think they're contenders. But I do think you surprise a lot of teams this year. And I think you surprise a lot of the fan base too. I don't think it's a 3-win football team. I don't believe it's a 4-win football team. I don't believe it's even a 5-win football team. You're not going to be able to convince me at any point, unless a catastrophic injury occurs, that this football team is only 2 wins better than they were last year. Given the coaching ability they have on the team, given the offense I believe is going to be a top 10 offense in terms of efficiency, they were the worst third down team this year. They will, not might, they will finish in the top half of the league in third down percentage. Fourth down, going for it, conversions, all that. Everybody loved how many times they went for it. They won't have to go for it as much on fourth downs this year. And they'll be much more strategic about it. I don't see them 2 wins better, man. I just don't. I see them 3-4 wins better.
Yeah.
I just do. You can look at the schedule. I look at the team. I'm done talking about how easy the schedule is. But I'm starting to buy into what the offense is going to look like this year. It's going to be difficult to game plan against. You stop the run, you still have to deal with Jared Goff in the offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, nobody's... You want to talk about a takeaway? Has anybody been able to guard this man? Has anybody been able to? Colts? No. The Atlanta game? No. Indy? No. Pittsburgh? No. Anybody? Can anybody guard him?
I don't think so.
No, they can't.
He's going to lead this team in receiving yards. I think so.
He's easily wide receiver 1 on this team.
Yeah.
And you know what? We had to have the conversation. Is he a number 1? Not saying he's going to have a Cooper Kupp season, but I want you to understand what I'm saying here. Cooper Kupp is a number 1 in the NFL, no?
He is.
And we typically have been programmed to associate number 1s with a DK Metcalf, a Julio Jones, right? A.J. Brown, some of the bigger, taller guys, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson. But then there are some of those guys. And whether or not Amon-Ra can ever be that good, God, that would be quite the feat for him to achieve. But the point is, you don't need the 6'4", 230-pound guy running vertical down the field to be your one.
Right.
DJ Chark doesn't have to be the one this year for the Detroit Lions. All I need DJ Chark to be is an option. I just need him to be a passing option for Jared Goff this year.
Right.
Jameson Williams, people talk about him being the number 1. Cooper Kupp was a 3rd-round pick. He's the number 1. Who's the better wide receiver? Jameson can step into this team in a few weeks. Not few, probably 5, 6, 7 more weeks. And doesn't need to be the one. And that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. Very happy with what I saw last night.
And the whole number 1, number 2 thing, in my opinion, is
overrated.
It's really overrated. It really is. Who's reliable? And it's Amon-Ra St. Brown as of right now. Maybe Jameson Williams can get there. I think he can, considering the talent he has. But right now, Amon-Ra is that dude. Another guy that I was able to take away from, and I know we got to go to break in a little bit, is Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, my God. You see this man, and you can talk about what he does on the football field. I'm here to talk about his leadership, which is something that, you know, we kind of discussed yesterday. Aiden in the huddle. Come on, reminding the defense, being that vocal leader, talking to Charles Harris, his relationship with Charles Harris. That's the most impressive thing to me, Adam. As a rookie, number 2 overall pick, I mean, you expect that out of those guys, especially as a quarterback, but your defensive end walking into a team that had 3 wins last year, being vocal to his hometown team, that was impressive to me too. And listen, they couldn't hang with Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, even in practice at the Pittsburgh game, he was making plays, and he was talking that ish too, which I appreciate, by the way. But overall, one thing that you can say about this offense is this season, in my opinion, it's dictated on that offense. It really is. That offensive line and defensive line, which I said yesterday, it's going to be so important. Because as much as, you know, you like the defense, you like some pieces on the defense, you don't want to put them in bad spots. You really don't. That's the complete opposite. Turning the ball over, going forward and fourth and short situations, and putting the ball in your territory. You just got to watch. But this year, I'm excited for that offense, Adam. I really am. And I agree with you. I think they're going to be one of the most efficient offenses because of the Ben Johnson and Jared Goff rapport. And now they have talent surrounding them. And an offensive line that is healthy.
It's nice to see the direction the team is going in.
Absolutely.
There is a very, very special person joining us this morning. I'm very, very happy that he's in the chat with us. Micro Mike in the chat this morning. Shout out to Micro Mike. Does great work over on his YouTube channel, Lions Talk with Micro Mike, of course. I have to shout out Robert Ross. He's making a hell of a case for Colin Kaepernick. Hell of a case. Because, Robert, I don't know if you know, Kaepernick hasn't played in, 5, 6, 7 years? I don't even remember. He's 34 years old. Robert, do me a favor. Shut the fuck up. I don't care for your opinion. I don't care for Colin Kaepernick. I don't give a damn about the story. Do us all a favor in the YouTube chat. There's a lot of good people in the chat this morning trying to have a good time, enjoy their Wednesday morning. They're eating a bagel, drinking a coffee. Nobody wants to hear your shit.
With cream cheese, I assume?
Definitely with cream cheese. Nobody wants to hear your shit.
The Kaepernick stuff, as time goes on, it just gets even more stupid to talk about at this point. Like, do I agree with him that he's probably better than Nate Sudfeld? Yeah.
No, I don't.
I do.
I don't.
I think
if he was, he would have had a job 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Well, I think there's, other things.
Yeah, I think you're overlooking how detrimental it is to be out of the league that long.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not saying he could walk in and be successful.
We saw him in Ann Arbor. We saw him try out. Who was it? Who was the NFL team? Was it the Raiders? Some NFL team. He had an open tryout. Then they had all the logistical changes. God knows. I don't want to do this.
Oh, the Raiders. That's who it was.
I don't want to do this. Just do me a favor. Colin Kaepernick, the Detroit Lions. I don't want to hear it. Go fucking talk. Go talk in a Cleveland Browns chat. Go talk in an NFL. Go do anything. I don't give a damn where you go. Just get the hell out of the chat. Do me a favor. We'll be back when we get back. The Ben Johnson and Jared Goff show what it means for the Lions this year, what fans can expect from the offense, and much, much more. But before we do, Jeff, the best defense on and off the field.
Oh, yeah, we talk about this Lions defense and how it isn't always reliable. Well, I'll tell you what, guarding alarm is always reliable. Summertime is closing, and that means you're still spending more time outside. Let guarding alarm give you peace of mind while you are out enjoying the sunshine. Just call 1-800-STAY-OUT today. You heard Fish. And you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Jeff Iafrate here, and I'm going to tell you about our friends at Big Frog. Because, guys, you can still get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long in Big Frog in Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they'll print one out for you on the spot. So go to bigfrog.com/Novi and tell them your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
All right, we're back here live on the Morning Woodward Show. Whew, Jeff Iafrate joining myself, Fisher. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you doing this morning?
Doing good.
I didn't tell you good morning, so I just wanted to make sure we got that out of the way.
Yeah, good morning, sir. I'm doing fine.
You started the morning messing
Wednesday.
things up, so I had to yell at you.
Did I? That happens sometimes. It's what happens
fix
when...
your camera, damn it. I'm joking.
I mean, I could.
No, I'm joking. Anyways.
That's kind of me. You don't want to talk to me, that's fine.
Sorry,
I'll
buddy.
just leave. Bye. Well,
Sorry,
see you
buddy.
later.
Jeff, Jared Goff, Ben Johnson. I think the biggest takeaway from Hard Knocks, confidence, communication skills of Ben Johnson are everything I've believed they were, what was being reported, what we were seeing in the offense's performance.
Right.
My first thing I'll say is it's a run-first offense. And when they establish the run, that's where play action, deception, beating you over the top will come into play. It's going to be a very tricky offense to play against this year. They have one of the better offensive lines in the league. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Craig Reynolds. They have a deep backfield. TJ Hawkinson, will we see him finally emerge, right, as the tight end you expect him to be? You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Chark. Jameson Williams will come back 4, 5, 6 weeks into the season. Josh Reynolds. There are players on offense. And I have zero doubts that Jared Goff, minimum, won't be able to go out and have arguably his best season in 3-4 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm not trying to say Ben Johnson will be Matt LaFleur, but when the Rams went to the Super Bowl, who was their OC? Matt LaFleur. When Jared Goff has a good relationship with his OC, that's when Jared Goff's at his best. And I know afterwards, everything kind of went downwards, but you see the relationship he already has with Ben Johnson. And we've been echoing this since last October, about how we see Ben Johnson as the future of the NFL in terms of that's what you're looking for in a head coach. Young, innovative, motivated, has a good communicator, has a good relationship with all his players. And that's what Ben Johnson, you could see, has with his offense, and Jared Goff. Jared Goff says great things about him. And I'll get to Amon-Ra called him a genius, by the way. Scored a touchdown in the practice, said, Ben, you're a genius. But the relationship between a quarterback and your OC is so important. And it's not just that. Quarterback coach as well. The Rams had a lot of success with this. Zach Taylor coming from the LA Rams as a quarterback coach. You had Matt LaFleur, who was an OC with the LA Rams. And I'll just tell you this, and I'm not saying Ben Johnson's going to be Matt LaFleur, but when you have that relationship that Ben and Jared do, Ben gets what Jared does well. He understands, and he's like, all right, I'm willing to implement what you like into this offense. Jared Goff has more of a say now. He's in for a good season. And define good, I mean, for us, it's near 30 touchdowns, somewhere in the ballpark of 26 to 28 touchdowns, double-digit interceptions, I think, personally. I think that would be a good season. We would all take that from Jared Goff. So I love the relationship they have together, Adam. I think they're building something, and this season they're going to be able to build on it. But this season, expect them to be efficient.
You got a little soundbite last night between Dan and Jared Goff. Do you remember what it was?
I remember them talking. They talked about him getting more comfortable, right?
Close. Starts with the C. Dan Campbell walked up to Jared Goff.
Right.
Said, "Bud, you're slinging it. Look great.
Right.
Doing well." And Goff said, "Yeah, I'm confident.
Confidence. That's
Confident in the receivers. This year they're going up and getting the ball. They're making plays. And that just gives me more confidence as a quarterback." Compare this Jared Goff that you're seeing now to what you saw last year. Sluggish, pedestrian, not really engaged much. I love what I'm seeing. I think Jared Goff is primed to have a good season. Not elite, not all-pro, not a franchise quarterback, but a good season. And what does a good season look like? If I told you 4,000 yards, flat, 4,000, 26, 27 touchdowns, 9, 10 interceptions, you wouldn't take a 2.7 touchdown to interception ratio? Yeah, you would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would. It's almost 30-1. You absolutely would. Ben Johnson's going to have this offense clicking. One of the major complaints you had last year was that the offense couldn't score. And if they just scored more than 20 points, or 20 or more points, they would have won double the amount of games they won last year. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Anthony Lynn. That whole disaster start. Dan Campbell really fumbling a lot of play calls. And then they started gelling. And then, you know what? The Arizona game, you saw an identity game for that team. And you've seen Brad Holmes over the offseason make additions. You can't fix it all in one offseason, but boy, you can make some good additions. And you just might have found a starting linebacker in the 6th round. On top of that, a 4th-round wide receiver who, as of right now, outside of Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle, he's the best receiver coming out of that draft so far. Better than Devontae Smith. Better than any of the receivers.
Right.
Terrence Marshall, whoever the hell else you want to name. It's Jamar Chase, it's Jalen Waddle, and it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I know there are people that would put St. Brown over him. I'm not going to do that this morning. The point is, he's over Devontae Smith. He's over wide receivers taken much, much, much higher than him.
Right.
That helps. That helps a rebuilding team. And it helps that you have a young, offensive-minded offensive coordinator who will be a head coach one day, who shows all the attributes that you see with successful young offensive-minded coaches. Communication skills, 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Ability to command the offense, 10 out of 10.
Creativity,
10 out of 10. And then you look around the league, whether it's Zach Taylor, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. You can go through the list. Nathaniel Hackett.
Kevin O'Connell
now in Denver. Now you're going to have, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. That's where the league is going. And you have that in Detroit. We have never said, at any moment, you can point to me and say, hey, Adam, the Lions are doing where the league, the Lions are operating within a space where the league is actually trending towards. The league is going towards young. It's going towards offense. And you know what? Who are we going to be talking about at the end of the year for head coaching jobs? We all say Aaron Glenn. That's fair.
Yeah, both coordinators.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore. Byron Leftwich.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Johnson.
It's all those C's.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Look at the coaches hired last year. Kevin O'Connell, Nathaniel Hackett, Brian Dable.
I'm surprised the Bears didn't get an offensive, but that's a different conversation.
They are literally, you know what's funny? Everyone used to say the Bears, right? Is now they say it?
The Bears.
It's transformed now
Bears.
because they haven't been relevant since 1985, but they're hold on to their history. The Bears. Now they're the Bears. They're really
like
IQ's dropped about 100 points right now. They're really borderline at this point. So got to help the Bears. Matt Eberfluss, a defensive coordinator for a second-year quarterback. 10 out of 10 higher. 10 out of 10.
Hey, you watch when the Bears win 3 games.
Shut the hell up, Fish. What were you gonna say?
You watch when the Bears win 1 or 2 games. You said 0-17.
They're gonna go 0-17.
Okay,
1 or
they
2
will not.
games. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
They will not.
They win
Fish,
1 or 2 games.
If the Bears win less than 2 games, you have to show up and do a show naked.
You said 0.
I know, but
You said 0.
wait, here we go.
1 to 2.
If they win 1 game, you have to do a show in your underwear. If they win 0, you have to do a show naked.
They will not go 0. When they win, I'm showing up in a Bears jersey.
So make the bet. If they win 1 game, only 1 game, you have to do the show without a shirt. If they go winless, you have to do the show naked.
Fish, if you believe it, I would take it.
I mean, 1 win. All right, F it, deal.
All right. We got a deal, folks.
Literally 1 win, Fish, and now you went from naked to just not having a shirt. So at least there's that. They win 2, you're saved.
Yeah, you know, James, they did make a Super Bowl. You're absolutely right. But they have not evolved ever. That's the point. And what do we remember that Bears team for? Defense and special teams with Devin Hester. And they lost. I'm not going to they won a division as recently with Mitch Trubisky.
With an offensive coach. But maybe in their mindset, it's I'm going to correct this error.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Defense.
I just know they're they're in a really bad position in my opinion.
Oh yeah, so
it's a bad spot.
So is Justin Fields.
Yeah, I'm
uphill
not a
battle
fan.
for him, man.
I'm not a fan. Lazarus Jackson joining us in just a few minutes. But before we go, Jeff, you got to tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Big Boy.
Oh, if you guys are looking for somewhere to go to lunch today, I got the place for you. It's Big Boy. Because, guys, they have the ciabattas, the summer salads, the hand-dipped shakes, all at Big Boy. Or you can keep it light with their apple or Michigan apple, their chicken Caesar, or their Greek salad. They have quite the salad selection. Or you get the shakes. You have the cookies and cream or the strawberry shake. You heard it here first on Woodward Sports. Summer just got better at Big Boy.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Open up until Labor Day weekend. Don't miss your chance to get down to the Monroe Street Midway, brought to you our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. Live music, food trucks, basketball trucks, roller skating. They have it all. They do a hell of a job. I know Jeff sucks at basketball, so if you want to beat Jeff, just head down to the Monroe Street Midway and you'll beat him.
That's messed up.
Sorry, Jeff. Having said that, the summer's always better at the Monroe Street Midway. We are back live on the Morning Woodward Show, a Wednesday morning, joined by Lazarus Jackson. Lazarus, good morning, bud.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. I know you wanted to have this conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll start with Jaden Ivey.
Of course.
Jaden Ivey. Well, let's rewind a little bit before we ever selected Jaden Ivey. Pistons fall to 5. Turmoil in the community. Frustration. Could have got Chet. Wanted Paulo, and the whole 9 yards. Coming up to draft time, you don't even think Jaden Ivey's a possibility. There's no way the Kings are going to king. Well, they did. And not that Keegan Murray's not going to be a good player, but superstar potential? I don't know about that. And I think the most athletic guard coming out was Jaden Ivey. What does that mean for the backcourt, the relationship he'll have with Cade in the future, and really the Pistons, did them falling actually help them?
Definitely. I think now the foundation of the team is more around athleticism than it was over the last year. You could see last season points in time where the team was clearly lacking that overt athleticism that Jaden Ivey provides. And now that they have that, you can play with that in certain ways. They can run out and transition more. They can play with speed in the half court, which is something that they couldn't do before. It's definitely been a great surprise to have Jaden Ivey fall that far to the Pistons at number 5 in the draft.
No, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was. And you got to see him in the summer league. And recently, the Rico Hines footage, the Ball's Life footage. And it's funny because people go on Twitter and they overreact, seeing Jaden Ivey get a shot blocked. All of a sudden now your season expectations completely change when you see a pickup run. Kevin Knox looks like Kevin Durant. I mean, this stuff, and I want to get your opinion on it. One, what did you take away from those two different videos? And then number two, I do want to hear your season expectations because I think it differs. A lot of people kind of mutually agree, at least that I've talked to. You want them to get better, maybe 30, 35 wins. Number one, what'd you take from those two videos? And then number two, what's your season predictions?
I think the thing that interests me the most about those two videos was that Cade and Ivey weren't playing together.
True.
I think that is something that they might play with to start the year. Another user pointed out to me hey, maybe they just want to get Ivy more run as a primary ball handler. Hard to do that with Cade on the floor. That makes a lot of sense. But the lineups were really interesting to me with Ivy, Stu, and Bagley on one team, and Cade, Bay, and Duran basically on another team. It's like you would, in my mind, you'd like to get a better mix of those guys, a better feel for all those guys, but it's August. What are you going to do?
It's a pickup.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing was nice. Cade looks really good. And that is the most important thing for this season coming up.
Yep.
Cade looked really, really good. He looks taller. He looks stronger, which are all things you expect, right? He's a year older, and he was only 20 coming in. But just to see that stuff, that's the stuff that gets you really excited about what you're going to see in late October. My expectations for the season, 29 wins. I think that's a 6-win improvement over last season. I think it's definitely possible that this team could win 35 games, but I'm trying to price in an injury, right? Cade tweaked an ankle and all of a sudden the team goes 1-13. I'm trying to price in, maybe we talked about Jaden Ivey's overt athleticism. Maybe he tweaks an ankle and he's out for a couple of weeks, and that's something you want, obviously, to him to get fully recovered since so much of his game is predicated on athleticism. So I think 29 wins is a fair amount of wins. If you want to ride the hype train, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm very excited about where this team is going.
It's tough.
That's why I like.
I think it's
Laz,
tough
man.
to
He
jump
gets it.
in the NBA and win total when you're rebuilding. There are anomalies, right? Boston was rebuilding, but in the playoffs and going to the Eastern Conference Final, but you had all-stars on that team with a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart coming up. It's just a different scenario. You don't see it. The Warriors with Steph Curry when they first drafted him. Then they drafted Draymond and Klay. They sucked for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, people forget that.
And then it was Mark Jackson. Then it was a 50-win year. And then it was a second-round appearance. And then it was Steve Kerr, and the rest is history. But it takes time. I think 29 is fair. You'd like to see them win 30, 32. Those 2-3 wins would be nice, but I don't think they have a choice. They're not good enough. They're just not. I think the biggest thing Pistons fans should look for, player development.
Absolutely.
You already kind of hinted at it with Cade. If Cade is what we think he is, people are going to be surprised this year.
Yeah. And for me, it's also a reflection of how strong the other teams in the East are, right? Charlotte made a huge jump last year. I don't think they win 43 games again, but they're still looking really good. Washington should not be nearly as injured as they were last year. They should still be good. The Knicks spent $200 million this season trying to get better, and they're still in the Donovan Mitchell mix. And if that happens, right, they will be a clear playoff team. Atlanta spent 5 first-round draft picks on DeJounte Murray. You expect them to be better coming into the season. And so there will be other teams kind of in the tier where you would expect if the Pistons are going to make the play-in, they're going to be in that play-in mix. those other teams have also made a jump. And so even if the Pistons do make a jump, they're probably not going to get in that realm, in my opinion. It's like I would be happy to be wrong. I would love to go to a play-in game at LCA in April or March.
What was the play-in record last year?
In the East, you got to win at least 40.
Yeah.
It's different in the
They
East.
are not 17 wins better.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
And the East isn't dropping off. It just isn't. If anything, the East is the new West for stereotypical reasons. It is. Just a lot deeper.
Yeah.
You're going to see a 36, 35 win team probably get in the Western Conference play-in this year. That's the reality. But Jesus Christ.
Just pulled up on the curb next to you.
This guy literally deadass drove up on the side.
Hey, when you have a Range Rover, you can do that, all right?
What the hell is going on?
He's
anyways?
entitled to do that.
We talked about Cade a little bit. Killian Hayes.
Let's do it.
Everyone's
All right.
favorite.
What I think is I just don't know. In an ideal world, he's like a really good 6'7" coming off the bench. Gives you 24 minutes a night. Very good on defense. Very proven. He's lanky. That's a problem to deal with on the offensive side. But what is he giving me on offense? We have enough playmakers. You have Cade. So him on the court with Cade really doesn't make much sense. With Ivy, maybe a little more. But Ivy still needs to develop a shot. Where does Killian fit this year, and what should people expect? Because I honestly, I just don't know what to expect, and I don't know what's fair or not fair with him.
I think the fairest thing you can do is try to forget that he was the 7th overall pick, right? It's like at this point, it's year 3 in his career. Where he was drafted no longer matters. The opportunity cost of who you could have had instead no longer matters. It's only about what he can provide for this team right now. And I think what they're going to ask him to provide for this team is to lead the backup unit, to be the 7th man off the bench, to facilitate the development of guys like Jalen Duren and Marvin Bagley in time as that pick and roll facilitator, to be a guy who you can play at the end of games for his defense as a defensive specialist. And I think but it's fair to ask him as well to be a better off-ball shooter, to be a better catch-and-shoot player, because that is what you're going to need from him as well. If he's going to play at the end of games, you're going to need him to provide some sort of spacing threat. I think it's possible that he gets there as a catch-and-shoot guy. I would love to see more confidence is the word we always use when we talk about Killian. We want to see him be more aggressive, be more confident. I think if he just gets it in his head that he can take the open shots that are given to him towards the end of games, and he can make those shots, I think he provides enough defensively and as a playmaker that can be his role. Now, Jaden Ivey has very clearly eclipsed him in the hierarchy already. And so if it doesn't work out for Killian this season, you don't feel as bad as maybe you would have a couple of years ago, giving him a shorter contract, or just handing him the qualifying offer and say hey, you got a year, prove it, and then we'll see where you go at age 22 or whatever. But yeah, I think the most reasonable thing you can do for Killian Hayes is just try and forget that he was a 7th overall pick. Pretend Sadiq was 7 and he was 18, and you're fine.
That's a good way to look at it. And now that we went through the players, I wanted to ask you specifically, because I talk about Troy Weaver a lot. We do on the show especially. I love Troy Weaver, man. Especially in my lifetime, you could speak on this. To see a general manager finally have a plan. I just haven't seen it. Yeah. I mean, the guy has listen, big respect to Joe Dumars, by the way. That's my guy. No Joe Dumars slander, by the way. We talk about Josh Smith. That's another conversation. But with Troy Weaver, his first 3 years, man, in those first 3 drafts, you talked about it in the first one. Yeah, Killian Hayes at 7, but you still found Sadiq and Isaiah Stewart. Second draft follows it up, Cade Cunningham, which a lot of people would say, well, that's a home run. You knew who the pick was. I still give credit for that. I mean, you have to hit that pick. You could have easily taken Jalen Green, and we'd be sitting here going, could have had Cade Cunningham. So he hit on that. Follows it up with Jaden Ivey. Trades up to get Jalen Duren. A guy that he was willing to take at 5, Jalen Duren. What do you think of Troy Weaver so far in his first 3 years and the plan he's on? And what do you expect him to do this next upcoming offseason to take this team to the next level?
Oh, that's a great question. So far, I'm enamored with what Troy Weaver has done. Even to go earlier to what you were talking about, being able to come in immediately, see that this team is not where you want it to be, and rip everything up from the studs very quickly is something that we don't normally see general managers do, but something that proved itself very useful when you were able to turn around the team as quickly as he's done. I have a great deal of respect for his ability to scout guys. If he locks in on a player, that gives me a great deal of confidence that he thinks that player can be something. You know, we are kind of close to disaster. We did kind of hear that, you know, James Wiseman was his like first choice, and like that didn't happen, and we can all kind of be grateful for that. But overall, I'm really enamored with what Troy Weaver has done in a very short amount of time as the Pistons GM. What his next move is going to be really interesting to me. Obviously, the Pistons have a really big hole at power forward. They need another Jeremy Grant, a younger Jeremy Grant. They need a little bit more depth on the wing. Be interesting to see how they fill that, how guys like Sadiq and Isaiah Livers and Hamidou kind of fit into that role as the season goes forward. But I think the next big move for them is trying to find that third guy. Like right now we have Cade. Cade's one. Right now we expect some combination of Sadiq and Ivy to be in that 2-3 range. It's like right now I would like to see another like wing type player that forces Sadiq down into like fourth option territory so he can focus on what he's best at as a player and take a little bit of ball handling pressure off of Cade and take a little bit of ball handling pressure off of Ivy so that those guys don't feel like they have to do too much moving forward. So you're looking at like a Jaylen Brown or an RJ Barrett. I was a big fan. I'm a big fan of the way RJ has developed. I was a little sad that he got the contract extension. There's not as much tension in that room as I would like. But another guy like RJ Barrett, I think, would be really useful for this Pistons team moving forward.
Absolutely. Get more Isaiah Livers. Just get a bunch of them.
Friendly reminder, March 11, 2020. The final regular season lineup that season was Brandon Knight, Ski, or Svi, if you want to. I don't know why it's SCI. I don't know what the hell I'm reading right now. Tony Snell, Thon Maker, and Christian Wood. From the studs, and you weren't joking.
And I was livid when the Christian
Ripped
Wood
from the studs,
got out.
and you weren't joking.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Isaiah Stewart's development? The three-point shot, there's arc. It's consistent. It looks good. I mean, he's added way more value than I thought he could ever give this team. He's a versatile defender. Maybe not the best defender, but he can basically do a job on almost, I would say, 4 out of the 5 positions. I think he gets exposed by a really athletic guard, but outside of that, he can at least do a job. He's arguably your most important player that's a non-scorer. Outside of your stars, your Sadiq, your Ivy, your Kate. I mean, he's the most important player, but he can now stretch the court for you. He can sit there on the corner. He can sit there from the three-point line. I mean, your thoughts on Isaiah Stewart's development and where he fits moving forward, because you did mention they need depth at 4. It's going to be Bagley this year, obviously. We'll see if they ever roll out Stewart and Duren at the same time. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Noel. I have so many questions about rotation, but before that, I want to focus on Isaiah Stewart. Your thoughts so far on his development and how he translates in the future with this team.
Sure. I love the idea of trying to make his game more versatile, offensively especially. There were definitely times last year where he brought so much defensively that you were happy, but he was so lackluster on the offensive end that it was really tough to for like the lineups with him on the floor to stay afloat offensively, just because like he was not enough of a threat. I'm loving what I'm seeing in the Rico runs. I loved what I saw in Summer League, 5 and 9 from 3. Just both the willingness to step out and take those shots,
confidence.
Yeah, exactly, and the ability to hit them. It's like, you know, it'd be one thing if he was just taking them and they weren't going in, but he's shown enough as a shooter right now that I feel confident in him being able to knock down wide open shots that defenses are giving him, which is really all you can ask for. But the thing I've always said about Stu is that he's a really important player for this team, but he's more of a 16-game player than an 82-game player. In the playoffs, when lineups get smaller, when defenses get better, when offenses get better, you see more teams downsizing, you see more teams employing like switch defense, which is his strength. And so maybe you need a drop big, you need a big guy like Jalen Duren to get you through the grind of the regular season, to be that vertical lob threat on nights when you're playing like inferior competition. But against the best of the best, you want a guy like Isaiah Stewart out there helping shore up defenses, making sure that you can like still compete on the glass while playing small, being able to stretch out and switch on guys who can attack the perimeter really well. We saw the performance he put against Luka in the Dallas game here at LCA. It's like things like that are what you really expect from him moving forward, and that's what makes him really valuable in a playoff series as opposed to the grind of the regular season.
Fair enough. I think the last thing I want to follow up with, you brought up Jalen Duren. I'm struggling to find a player comp. It's too early. Obviously, he's very raw. But I look at Boston and I see Robert Williams, and I think to myself, if he's 50% of that on defense and probably an upgrade on offense, that's a good pick. But he runs the floor. I think he's going to be a problem in transition. Probably not going to get enough credit for that. But what's his game? What's his player comp? What can Pistons fans expect year one? And I kind of hinted at it earlier. Nerlens Noel, you're probably going to want to have a veteran on the court at times. How many minutes are we going to get out of him? 12? 14?
I think it's not necessarily how many minutes per game. It's like when he enters the rotation. I don't think you'll see him in the rotation to start the year. I think as we get into like January, February, around the trade deadline, maybe some things happen with the team at the trade deadline. You never know. But after that, you will definitely see him have more of an impact on the team in the rotation. Player comps, you think about your big rim running centers. You think about the guy I always think about is Tyson Chandler as the core piece of that 11 Mavs team that won the championship. As a guy who just like patrolled the paint, locked everything down, and was a guy who could was a good lob threat on the offensive end, could knock down his free throws. That's a big thing for me with Duren. I want to see him improve from the free throw line, but I know Duren has aspirations for more. You see him take the like step around face up jumpers. You see that be an element of his game. I'm sure they'd like to see him grow into, but immediately right out of the gate in his rookie season, I would prefer to see him focus on the things that he's really good at, which is attacking the rim as a pick and roll threat and protecting the rim on the defensive end. So I think you'll see Jalen Duren later in the season play more minutes than you will see him early in the season.
All right, well, we can't thank you enough for hopping on.
And
really appreciate it.
By the way, follow him at Last Chance on Twitter, man. He's a great follow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, top of the hour. When we get back, welcome to the Ben Johnson Show. Takeaways from Hard Knocks with Ben Johnson, what it means for the Lions, what it means for Dan Campbell. All that and much more when we get back. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Academy of Warren.
Well, everybody listen. If you're looking for a place to send your kids, I have it. The Academy of Warren, brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field that can also be used for 7-on-7. They feature a futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, academic games, and K-8 athletics. Check it out, all at academyofwarren.net.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Let me tell you about our friends from OddsTrader. OddsTrader.com is the #1 site for all your game day bets. And look at me, man. I'm simple. I go on OddsTrader. I can see all the sports books right in front of me. I don't have to do all this searching. Call it lazy, call it whatever you want. But OddsTrader, it's convenient. Play-by-play updates. They have live scores, the best price on every game from multiple sports book. Go to OddsTrader.com right now for your best bet.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Top of the hour, brought to you by our good friends, of course, over at Bedrock Detroit. Jeff Iafrate. October 17th.
You got a date?
October 17th.
Wow.
2021. The Detroit Lions, or excuse me, yes, it was October 17th. The Lions were struggling. The Anthony Lynn decision had recently been made. Dan Campbell takes over. The team struggles for a few weeks. And what happens towards the end of October? Right around the time the Michigan State game happens. We start to hear Ben Johnson.
You heard a little bit
and
of
it was pushed to the side. It was Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell's got this. No, bitch. Ben Johnson has got this. And we sat up here. It was it was November. It was November 4th. We sat up here and said Ben Johnson should be the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions at the end of the season.
Right.
And that was a non-story. Nobody was reporting on it. Nobody wanted it to happen. And you want to take something out of LeVar Ball's book of life, speak it into existence? It's exactly what happened. Welcome to the Ben Johnson Show, Jeff.
Oh, it feels great. It really does. And there's always something. We had this discussion, too, at the time last year. This is where the league's heading. And a guy like Ben Johnson, who, I listen, there's an iconic clip. I still have it saved that was posted on Woodward Sports on the Instagram, me rambling about Ben Johnson. And I watched it back the other day, actually, just because I wanted to see my mindset during that time. And it's the same one I have now. The one thing I talked about, too, is look how much the players love him and give him credit. At the time, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think we were right around the middle of the season, early in the season. They just won a game, or no, they were still winless, excuse me. And Amon-Ra had a touchdown. But Amon-Ra gave credit for that touchdown to Ben Johnson, and that's what we brought up on the show. I'm like, listen, he gave credit to Ben Johnson for that touchdown. Brock Wright had a touchdown, gave credit to Ben Johnson for drawing that play up. And now it's all making sense because you watch Hard Knocks last night, you see Amon-Ra score a touchdown in practice. What'd he say? Ben Johnson, you're a genius. Giving credit to Ben Johnson because, listen, Ben's been around for a while. I mean, he's worked with Dan. He was with Matt Patricia in that regime. But now being promoted to the OC, that's all it takes. I think Ben Johnson's always had it in him, but he just needed an opportunity. And now he has it this year to go do it. And it's a big year for him. I think they're going to have a great year as an offense. And I think people are going to start paying attention to Ben Johnson. He's going to be a hot commodity. And other than what we think of him, don't listen to us. No. Don't listen to the morning show. Listen to Zach Taylor. Because Zach Taylor tried to hire him to bring him out of the Cincinnati Bengals after losing the Super Bowl. Because that's what you do as a head coach when you lose the Super Bowl. You want to get better. You want to get smarter. You want to bring smart guys in that know football. Try to get Ben Johnson in. Didn't work. For years, he's been trying to get Ben Johnson in. Didn't work. So it's not just Lions fans drinking the Kool-Aid. This is a national thing. People, and coaches specifically, they notice. And they know coaches. It's much more than we know coaches. And we talk about Ben, but really, Adam, this guy, and I don't know if it'll be this year, because Aaron Glenn, in my opinion, is more deserving because he's been a defensive coordinator longer. But Ben Johnson is going to be rising up the ranks. And you're going to have to make a decision very, very soon. Maybe not very soon, but in the near future. Because when you have a guy that could get hired away to be a head coach somewhere else, maybe Deuce Staley gets promoted, you're going to have to think to yourself, did we let a good one get away? Did we let that guy get away? Because I love Dan Campbell. I really do. I think he's a great leader, leader of men. Players love him. Players play hard for him. But the last thing you want, Adam, is to be looking across to another team and you see Ben Johnson as the head coach, and they're winning football games. And you think to yourself, like the Washington Redskins Commanders at the time did, damn, we had Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan all under our organization. And as the Lions, you have a couple of those guys under Dan Campbell. We'll see what happens. I'm very intrigued for the future. I really am.
Future's bright. What I would say is I don't see them walking away after this year, and I'll tell you why. And I was hosting a Twitter space last night, and this exact conversation came up. Mm-hmm. And my answer was simple. If I'm Aaron Glenn, and in this case, Ben Johnson.
Right.
Jeff, would I take the Houston job if it was offered to me?
That's a tough one.
I would say no.
Yeah, no. That's a tough situation.
And so where I'm getting at with this, the jobs will be there. if they do their jobs, if they improve the defense, if Ben Johnson improves the offense, if he sparks a resurgence in Jared Goff, he's going to garner a lot of respect around the league. And he can stay in an offensive coordinator position for a year, 2, 3 years, and take a job that he believes is worth taking in the future. You think Mike McDaniels leaves the San Francisco 49ers if it didn't mean he was going to a Miami Dolphins team with a pretty damn good roster, a damn good defense, a young quarterback that he could work with in Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki? They spent money on the offensive line. They traded for Tyreek Hill. He doesn't take that job.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, in my opinion, will have the league at his feet in a few years. All I hope for is that if it's not working with Dan Campbell for any reason,
better make a decision.
You make that decision. Do not pull the Jay Gruden, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay scenario on us. Please.
And they had Kevin O'Connell at the time.
And Kevin O'Connell.
As a quarterback coach.
Quarterback's coach, exactly.
Like, think about that. How much talent they had.
Don't let it leave your building unless, again, if you're having success, we see this all the time. McVay's able to compensate for losing all of his staff. So is Kyle Shanahan.
Because he is the system.
But not only he is the system, he can coach, man. And if Dan Campbell can coach, I'm okay with losing Ben Johnson.
Right.
Because if he's good enough to help Ben and promote Ben and keep getting people in the door, all right, fine, keep it going. That's what the good coaches do. But there is that worry of, do you keep him 1 year too long if it's not working? We'll see. I don't want to speak things into existence that are a bit negative. All I'm trying to get at this morning is, let's not forget what you have in the building. I was very upset that there were reports coming out that they were even considering interviewing anybody outside of Ben Johnson. That was always the play. I'm glad they made that decision. That was the right thing to do. One decision at a time. And so far they're making, I wouldn't say not only they're stacking quality decision after quality decision after quality decision. So thrilled this morning. Happy with Ben Johnson's development. Happy with where the offense is going. Jeff, they're going to finish... They're going to be one of the 20 or even top 18 offenses in the NFL this year. They won't be bottom of the league.
Yeah.
They won't be bottom on defense. I think they're going to improve. And that points to the win record I've been giving them the whole time.
And by the way, I just want to address some things in the chat right now, too. I know people are talking about this is one of the most pull the cart before the horse conversations I've ever heard.
Shut the fuck up. How about that?
This is simply us giving credit to what we have as OC. I'm not saying, we're not going to say Dan's going to get fired this year, but you have to have at least a conversation hypothetically.
I got this, bud.
You really do.
I got you.
You really do.
All right. First of all, Jeff Iafrate was the first individual to bring up Ben Johnson. Nobody knew about Ben Johnson before Jeff Iafrate. Number one. Number two, when you have somebody in the building that is like Ben Johnson, hence, you want to go to the old Redskin example, where it was Jay Gruden at head coach, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell, and Matt LaFleur all on the staff, and you fail to recognize the talent you have in the building. Have the Lions made that mistake? No, they didn't.
No.
They saw what was being spoken. They saw him on a day-to-day basis, and they believed he could be the OC. And so far, he has done everything and more. And it isn't that he's just lighting up the Lions defense in camp, lighting up the Falcons offense, lighting up the Colts during joint practice, lighting up the Colts. Well, technically not the Colts because Goff didn't play, but still. The sample sizes you have seen, Jared Goff looks phenomenal. St. Brown, unguardable. Chark looks good. Stop the nonsense. There's no pulling the cart. What this simply means is, for the first time, instead of having Jim Bob Cooter, or what the fuck was his name, that dumbass that won a game for the Lions, and everybody said, he should be the head coach after
Darryl Bevell. Yeah, Darryl Bevell.
Fuck you guys, you dumb fucks.
Listen, I can't.
Sorry,
even
Jeff.
talk.
I just don't like. Got to defend my boy this morning.
No, listen, I appreciate that. And people saying either the Ben Johnson talk or even us not. I love Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. Both those guys are going to be head coaches. So we can talk about our OCs without dissing Dan Campbell. That's just a fact.
Hey, dumbasses,
I mean, come on.
the same way you can say, oh, well, it's just on the practice field. he hasn't proven anything to make you say that. Well, he also hasn't proven anything for you to doubt.
Yeah.
What Jeff is saying.
That's true.
So do me a favor. Shut the hell up. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're
You're
having a
welcome,
good morning
Adam.
so far. How are you doing, Fish?
Doing good?
I love it, man.
Oh,
I
God.
love it. How can you not be excited about the
Oh,
future?
God. You know
man?
what's funny?
How can you not?
You know what's funny? It's the very same people that when years ago you tell them that, hey, Matt LaFleur's a rising coach in the NFL, or hey, Sean McVay's gonna hit when he goes to the Rams. It's those same people that say, well, he hasn't proven anything.
The youngest head coach in history.
Guys, look where the league is going.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking you to do this morning. That's all Jeff is asking. Look at where the league is going. Go look where the successful coaches are. Go see what they're good at. Ben Johnson is what a successful head coach and OC looks like in the NFL today.
That's true.
He plays the part right now. He's checking all the boxes. And when the season starts, you'll see why. And there will be no doubts 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks into the season. When we get back, should the Detroit Lions be concerned with the backup quarterback role? We did address it earlier. David Blough has been cut. Nate Sudfeld seems to be the pickup.
But is he the pickup? That's what.
I have a pretty.
Yeah.
I feel pretty strongly about this.
Yeah,
So
me too.
we'll get to that in a second. But before we do, I got to tell you about our amazing sponsors over at Planet Fitness, home of the Woodward Sports Studios, of course. Planet Fitness, your judgment-free zone. Get started today for $0 down, $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Visit one of their many, many Metro Detroit locations or visit planetfitness.com. It's totally up to you. Take your mental and physical health seriously and get started at Planet Fitness today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Alta. Because, guys, at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. You have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. You know, Twitter is always a good space to be on. I love Twitter. I got Maz tagging me in preseason footage from Malik Willis, telling me, "Hey, Malik Willis haters."
Are you sarcastic about Twitter?
1 second. No, I'm being very serious.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Malik Willis haters, from our very own Tom Azaway.
Yeah.
Hey, Malik Willis haters. Nah, the Lions didn't need him. All right, buddy. All right, buddy.
Hey, there's like verified people saying Malik Willis is the next superstar.
You know what? Look, this is what I'm going to say about Malik Willis.
Oh, Lord.
You wanted him number 2 overall.
Yeah.
And if at any point you ever uttered out of your mouth that the Lions should take Malik Willis number 2 overall, you are disqualified from sitting in your chair for a 3rd round pick and jerking off to preseason footage. You're not allowed to be part of the conversation. I love you, Maz. Love you, Ryan. Shut the hell up.
He's a project.
He's a 3rd round quarterback. If he comes in and shocks the world, well, buddy, the Titans passed on him twice, and every team in the NFL passed on him twice, some 3 times. And mistakes happen. But when you tell me somebody should... You didn't come out and say Dak Prescott should be 2nd overall, and then he fell to 4th. You didn't say Russell Wilson should be... That was never the conversation with either of them.
Right.
Malik Willis, specifically, was projected from a lot of credible people. Credible. That the Lions should take him number 2 overall. But he fell to the 3rd round. And I trust Brad Holmes evaluating talent and quarterback needs more than anybody at the moment. So how about we chill on the Malik Willis hype train from preseason footage? Last I checked, Tyron Huntley should be a 4-time Super Bowl winner, given his preseason performances with the Baltimore Ravens.
It's just different situations. That's what I try telling people. It's like the Titans are in a different spot completely than we are as Lions, like as Lions fans. I mean, look at it. They had to build this team out. And as Laz talked about the Pistons, building it from the foundation, we're still in the process of doing that with the Lions. The Titans have made the postseason last year, the year before. They can draft Malik, and if Malik doesn't work out, so be it. They still have a playoff roster. The Lions are trying to build a playoff roster. So why would you draft a quarterback, number one, by the way? Because let's say you don't see him play this year, Adam. You don't know what he is. You don't know if he's good or not. You don't draft one next year. So why would you wait to draft? Why would you take a quarterback and not draft one next year, considering next year's class is simply better? And because Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes had a week with Malik Willis at the Senior Bowl, and they still didn't take him. So if you guys don't want to trust, don't want to trust people talking about Malik.
I can't trust Maz. I can't trust Ryan. I can't trust Easy. I'm sorry.
But apparently those guys can't trust Brad Holmes and his evaluation of. Apparently we know more than
I don't mind if you
Brad.
like a player. I don't.
That's fine.
Which they do. You love Malik Willis. You love Kyle Hamilton. That's great. That's great. No problem. But do me a favor. When you come out and say they should draft him number 2, and he falls to the 3rd round, how about you just zip it a little bit? Wait and see how his career plays out before we point to preseason footage. Having said that, let's get to the backup quarterback role. Oh, dear God, Jeff. Nate Sudfeld, excuse me. Honest mistake.
Probably doesn't even matter.
I don't care. And I don't mean to do this to you. I don't want to put you on the spot, Jeff. I don't care.
No, you're not putting me on.
I know we have it in the rundown. I just don't give a damn. I really don't. Because you know what? If Jared Goff sucks this season, the Lions are going to suck. If you need a backup quarterback at any point for a significant amount of time this year, the Lions are going to suck. And you know what happens to teams? Crazy concept here. You know what happens to football teams that suck?
Oh. Got a phone call? Oh.
They lose football games.
Oh, gotcha.
Goddamn idiots.
I didn't know that.
They lose football games. I know. I didn't know. Bill Polian called me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me bad teams lose football games. Teams that suck lose football games.
Bill called.
Yeah, I thought teams that sucked win a lot of games.
Yeah.
I must have forgot. Oops. Guys, backup quarterback. Again, you want to talk about names? Nate Sudfeld, what he did with San Francisco, David Blough, how as they got him killed. Literally, we're having this conversation because that left tackle should be sentenced for 2nd-degree murder. Because David Blough was mauled against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Having said that, whoever the backup is, at any point, if you need to turn to him during your season, no team in the NFL realistically, most seasons, they're equipped to lose your starter. So why should I give any effort? Why should I worry? They're not a contender.
No.
So I'm not worried about losing the division if I lose my quarterback for a few games. They're not going to be a wild card contender, even though they could with how weak the NFC is, but still. A year ahead of ourselves right now. And let's please not forget, you probably draft a quarterback at the end of the year. Jeff?
You're absolutely right. And listen, we talk about the Lions, and we want them to do what winning organizations do. That's the number one thing, right? You want to mimic those types of moves that they make. Well, listen, one move that all these contending teams have made or have right now on their roster is a backup quarterback that isn't going to save their season. Ask the Rams. Okay, John Wolford. If Matthew Stafford goes down, you're screwed. Cincinnati Bengals, what do they have, Brandon Allen? The point is, if Joe Burrow goes down, they're screwed. The Denver Broncos, if Russell Wilson goes down, I don't even know the backup. They're screwed. Like that's where I'm getting at is even contending rosters, to your point, Adam, they don't do it. It was an anomaly that the Eagles had Nick Foles on the roster at the time, just ready. It's not like they knew he would take them and win a Super Bowl over Tom Brady and the Patriots. It's an anomaly. So I'm not concerned with the backup. The only time I'm really going to be concerned with the backup, Adam, is when you draft a quarterback and he's behind your starter, like with San Francisco, Trey Lance, and Jimmy G. That's when I'll be concerned, knowing that we have our franchise quarterback behind Jared Goff. But until then, until Brad Holmes finds a quarterback that you know is better than Jared Goff, I don't care.
And look,
I don't.
Every GM makes mistakes. Brad Holmes is subject to make mistakes as well. Okay? Having said that, he had 2 first-round picks this year. And what you had going in, after you traded up for Jameson, you had the Pascal pick, Kirby Joseph. We all knew the defense was a weakness. And last I checked, excuse me, Jared Goff has 3 full seasons left here in Detroit. Yes, you can cut him for some dead cap space, but even if Goff plays well this year, you have 0 obligation to give him a new contract.
Right.
0. You're in a good position. And you draft a quarterback this year, why? Why? Hell, some of the ones that were drafted have been cut. Look, everybody wants a quarterback. There are maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 teams, 12 teams at most at a given time that love their quarterback. The other 18, 20, 22 teams are looking. The Vikings are looking, but they're okay with Kirk Cousins. The Titans are looking, but they're okay with Ryan Tannehill. The Lions are looking, but they're okay with Jared Goff. Because they're average and some are good. Jared Goff, I think, falls under average.
And hold on, I need to address something, too, because people are bringing up the 49ers like they have a good backup. Guys, they drafted their franchise quarterback. They have Trey Lance. So, yes, Jimmy G is now a backup.
No, I think they're talking about Jimmy G now, right?
But that's the point. They took Trey Lance. Now Jimmy G's a backup. Jimmy G in a year from now, who's their backup going to be, Adam? After Jimmy G leaves.
They're probably going to have to go on free agency or draft one.
It'll be another Nate Sudfeld type of player. So that's my point, guys. If you draft a franchise quarterback and Jared Goff becomes your backup, yeah, you got a good backup. But until then, I don't care. Until you take, in the 49ers case, they took Trey Lance, then I'll be concerned because then you have a franchise quarterback behind Jared Goff. But until then, none of this matters. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter. So I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, again, people in the chat not okay with Jared Goff, not happy with his play. All right, fine. Jimmy G as a backup. Can we add some context? Jimmy G is a backup right now, yes, for the Niners.
For temporarily.
Starts on most teams in the NFL.
Right.
And the reason the Niners are going in the direction they are with Trey Lance is how many first-round picks did they spend to move up and get him?
Quite a few.
I could have sworn 3.
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah. Get your investment out on the field. They don't have a choice. And I think they made a good decision by re-signing Garoppolo the way they did and restructuring his deal. It's a good move. It was a good move. It's too soon. I promise all of you, by week 12, 14, the conversation we'll be having is who should the Lions be drafting? Whether Goff plays well or not, that's the conversation you're going to be having.
Absolutely.
Because you must do it if it's the timeline that you're building this team under. When we get back, just how good Amon-Ra St. Brown is. And, of course, we'll finish up the show with winners and losers from the preseason, Hard Knocks, and, of course, the final roster cuts. But before we go, I got to tell you about the official drink of the summer, and that's the Mulligan. Whether you're on the golf course hanging out with Jeff or you're having a barbecue with fish and he feeds you chicken tenders, I don't know what the hell is going on. All I know is whatever you're doing, you need to have a can of Mulligan in your hand. 8% alcohol, iced tea, lemonade, gypsy, vodka mixed. Make sure you're always supporting local, and as always, please drink responsibly.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The Bacon Blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Guys, The winter is approaching, and listen, you need a tan. I don't know what the skin color. Listen, I'm kind of dark. I'm Italian, but a lot of you guys are white like fish. Too white. So go to Chili Peppers Tan. Join the Peppers Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals. Plus, they'll beat all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan.
And we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Fish, when are you going to get a tan, buddy?
I mean, I get a tan in the summer when I'm out and about.
Fish, I want you to come in one day with that Jersey Shore tan. Just,
I want you to look like a Guido.
Hair
Is
gel.
that what they call them at Jersey
who?
Shore?
Guido, yeah.
A Guido, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that because they're super dark, or is it because they're Italian?
It's just like a slang for,
What
Guido
is
is kind of like, you use as like a slang to,
How
for
you identify an Italian?
Yeah. Like,
so you're one or no?
like a Dago, Guido. Yeah, I guess I'm
Is that
a
what you
Guido.
are?
Yeah, I guess.
Hey.
It sounds kind of douchey, but I guess.
I would love for you to bring out that Italian in you. Talk like Maz every once
I
in a
use
while.
my hands a lot.
Hey,
yeah, you know how I use my hands. That's
I like pizza.
Maz is the most Italian without being Italian.
Yeah.
Like he just grew up around Italian.
You put the meatballs after the fucking pasta. What are you doing, honey?
That does sound like Maz as well.
Yeah, that's Maz right there.
Oh man,
Man's the king.
Maz is a savage.
There's
All
stick
right.
behind you.
Hey, tall man. All right, 9:30 on a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday
It
morning.
is a beautiful Wednesday.
Jeff, I mentioned earlier, he hasn't been able to be guarded. No one's locked him down. He's made plays all over camp, all over joint practices in the preseason.
Right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, just how good can he be this season?
He's a stud. He really is, and I'm excited for him. I mean, the fact that we could talk about all the time. Brad Holmes found him in the 4th round. This guy, and we talked about it earlier, I don't care for the number 1, number 2 thing. All I know is, in the Hines Ward comparisons, and I got to give credit to the chat, because this is one guy that I think it was Funky, who also gave the Hines Ward comparison, and we talked about it. This dude's a dog. And you could talk all about the talent, but I want to talk about the work ethic, because that's what stands out to me the most, is he is so locked in. And listen, I know where he gets it from. It's his dad. 2-time Mr. Olympian, Mr. Universe. So, listen, I'm excited for him this year. I still think he's going to lead this team in receiving yards, because you could talk about Jameson, you could talk about DJ Chark, but Amon-Ra has something that those guys don't have, and it's the rapport with their quarterback, Jared Goff. So he has that as an advantage going into the season, and Jared Goff, his bread and butter. It's that intermediate to short passing game, and I feel like that's Amon-Ra St. Brown's bread and butter. He's going to be open. He's reliable. He didn't drop a ball last year. I know he dropped one in the preseason, but let's be honest, it was a backup quarterback in the game. So I'm excited for him, Adam, and I think with more weapons around Amon-Ra St. Brown, because that was the biggest conversation last year. It's like, yeah, he had 900 yards. He had all those targets. But this year, there's more talent around him. Actually, I could argue the more talent around Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to make him better. Because now last year, teams knew late in the season, we have to double or at least pay attention to Amon-Ra. This year, there's too many guys. You're going to have to pick one, and you're going to have to pick one and make a business decision. So I'm excited for him, Adam, and I think the rapport with Jared, that chemistry they were able to build towards the end of the season, have that the entire 17-game season, he's clearing 1,000. Absolutely. So I think he's leading the team.
90 receptions last season, 912 yards, 119 targets. I expect this season to look something like 103, 104 receptions on 140, 145 targets, roughly around 1,097, 1115. Dare I say 12? I think 12 is just going to have to take so many more receptions. He hasn't been much of a home run hitter. So it's very difficult. A guy that averages 10 yards a reception.
It's crazy.
So you're going to need 120 catches to get 1,200 yards at his pace. But I do think that number improves this year.
But the thing last year that he got, I guess you could hold against him, and Ben Johnson talked about it, is his yards after catch. That was something he didn't have really last year, and he's implementing that in his game. So you talked about all the receptions he has, Adam. If he's able to, get some more chunks of yards now after the reception, that's going to help him a lot more this year as well. So I'm excited.
Over under 125 targets.
Ooh. What do you have last year? That's what I have to compare it to.
103, I believe.
Yeah, let me just check real quick. Okay, so he had 119 targets.
Oh, 119?
119 targets.
So we're going to move that up then.
119 targets.
We're going to go
year.
over under 132.
Yeah. I'll do that.
I'm going to say over no matter what. I think Goff loves having St. Brown as an option.
And you're missing that first half of the season where he was
irrelevant.
Yeah.
And for a 6-week stretch, look, you guys play fantasy football, you all know what I'm talking about. This dude won people leagues.
He did.
He was a league winner last year. He just was. And if you picked him up or you had him half the season and you believed in him, well done. Because he burned me as well. He was a league winner last year. Hell of a player. Double-digit targets, double-digit receptions, 100-plus yards. Scoring touchdowns finally. Doing it on the ground, too, oddly enough. St. Brown is a winner, man. What a pickup. What a draft pick. Like I said, I think he's the third best draft pick out of that draft in terms of wide receivers.
He is.
If you want to count Pitts, I guess you could say fourth. But it's Chase, Waddle, and St. Brown is right there.
Yeah.
Pretty damn close to Waddle.
I think he was better than Devonta Smith.
Oh, easily.
And
not even close, actually.
Taking 3 rounds ahead of him, so.
100%. I love what St. Brown is doing. Again, I always tell you how the league is moving in an offensive direction, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how impossible it is to guard these wide receivers. He's pretty unguardable.
And the guy's making, 4 years for $4 million?
Nothing. He's making nothing.
That's crazy. To see what 1,000-yard receivers are making nowadays. The minimum on these guys are $20-25 million. And you got him. And I'm not trying to pull a Neil where you bring up Galladay's contract in September. But it is. I mean, he's right. The guy's really only making about $1 million annually. So with $800,000 guaranteed. Oh, base salary of $800,000. So it's just to think about that. Like, when has this ever happened? Like, seriously. When have you ever reached, especially as a Lions fan, you find a guy like Amon-Ra who comes out almost has 1,000 yards his first season in the 4th round. And he remembers every receiver drafted ahead of him. There's quite a few. Says a lot about the talent evaluation, man. It really does. Brad Holmes, he's special.
We have some people in the chat saying the Devonta Smith conversation is debatable. Oof. You know what? I'll be fair. I'll have the conversation. Between the two, who was more explosive throughout the entire season? Devonta Smith. I believe he averaged almost 15 yards of reception. He was catching the ball downfield.
Right.
64 receptions, I want to say 900-plus yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns. Solid. St. Brown, chain mover, yards after catch, underneath, 10 yards a pop. So 90 catches, 912 yards, 5 touchdowns. But the Amon-Ra St. Brown you saw late, I don't believe you ever saw once, maybe even twice at most, with Devonta Smith. Fair to say debatable, but I think it's very clear to me that St. Brown is above him. One was drafted in the 4th round, the other a first-round draft pick.
And the different...
One played with an injured offense and was the only focal point you had to worry about down the stretch, and he still got his. Meanwhile, Devonta Smith played with Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, and a winning team.
And they brought in AJ, and now it's like, all right, AJ, you're our number 1. The Lions draft Jameson. They bring in DJ Chark. And I get AJ Brown he deserves to be number 1, by the way. But it's funny how we bring in 2 receivers, and guess who's still number 1? It's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, look,
because of that reliability, you can rely on him. He's always going to be there. So,
look, Devonta Smith had 2 100-yard games. Do you know how many St. Brown had?
I'd say 4, 5. Oh.
And look, that's not the end-all, be-all.
No,
right?
no,
that's
no,
not
no.
going to mean that he's not going to be a good player or Devonta Smith is no. But the point is, one's a 4th-round pick, one's a 4th-round pick.
Point.
The other is a 1st-round pick. And down the stretch, Amon-Ra St. Brown had games of 86 yards on 10 catches, 73 yards on 8 catches, 90 yards on 8 catches, 91 yards on 9 catches, 111 on 8, 109 on 8. He got better and better and better and better as the season ended. 4 straight games with a touchdown.
And that's what I'll ask to the people, because Croc in the chat, nobody's taking St. Brown over Devonta Smith. How about I ask you guys this? Would you rather have a different player than Devonta Smith in the 1st round, let's say if you're the Eagles, and then you draft Amon-Ra in the 4th? Or would you rather...
That's fair. Because you're right, but I don't think that's fair. Because Devonta Smith, again, I think we're all big fans of him. He's
going to be a dog. But I'm just saying that's the conversation we're having.
You have to add it into the conversation.
He's a 4th-round pick. That's why we're having this conversation. I'm not going to have the who's better, Amon-Ra or Devonta. I mean, they're both going to be great receivers. But the conversation is you got this guy in the 4th round. That's the conversation, really.
I'm all for it. Devontae won the Heisman. Can't fault the man for. Yeah, I don't blame him for getting drafted that high.
No,
I think it was well deserved.
He deserved to get there drafted.
It was well deserved, and he's a damn good wide receiver. And you know what? We talk about players having a breakout year from that draft class. We obviously saw Chase do it year one, but Waddle, Devontae Smith, and St. Brown, they're all in the same category of who's going to eclipse the 1,150, 1,200-yard mark this season. I think you'd put your money on Waddle in that offense, but don't shy away from Devontae Smith, let alone Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's a hell of a conversation to be in for St. Brown.
Right.
When we get back, the Lions winners and losers from the preseason, from Hard Knocks, and, of course, final roster cuts. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Yes, let me tell you about our friends at SMA, because the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word series on fentanyl, helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Please go to thesportsma.com if you're struggling or know someone who is.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house.
Hello?
Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Let me tell you about our friends at Fowling Warehouse, because, guys, Fowling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fowling. To play, you can play their $12 unlimited open play or $120 lane reservation for up to 10 people. The $2 mystery beer machine and full bar, which I know my guy Mike, we go there, we're dabbling in that for sure. Check it out, fowlingwarehouse.com. Tell them your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
I love it. I love it. Winners and losers from the preseason, from Hard Knocks, and from the final roster cuts. Jeff, I'll give you a loser.
We might agree, but I'll let you go because I'm curious to see.
I doubt it.
Good, because then that leaves me for mine. My own,
I doubt it. I doubt we have the same loser on this one.
Who is it?
I think one of the bigger losers coming out was TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
And I don't mean it in a way where, oh, the season's over for TJ.
Right.
What I mean is, boy, in the limited preseason action we've seen, in the limited reports we've gotten out of joint practices, even reports coming out of camp in Allen Park, I haven't heard much. And you know what? You could make the argument that's a winner because you don't want to hear much of Hawkinson. You just want him to go out, be healthy, and play well. That's totally fair. I could accept that argument this morning.
Right.
But I was a little cautious thinking about TJ Hawkinson going into the season, where he fits with Jared Goff, what his rapport is with Jared Goff. We can't lie. The guy's got talent, very skilled, big body tight end, can definitely block, does a hell of a job run blocking. I hope it's a bunch of nothing, Jeff. I really do.
For me, I'm going to start with, I'll go through, I guess I'll give my loser because you gave your loser. Mine would be easy. And not easy from Woodward. I'm talking about easy who got cut from the Lions, I guess, yesterday. And it was funny because I guess it wasn't funny, but you saw him last week and you saw the lead up. Hank Fraley asked him, who are you cheating? Nobody. Yourself. Like, he messed up that one bad. And then now fast forward to this week. Didn't look good last night. He did the rookie, whatever it is, hazing, and he had to tell a joke. And that was cringe. I can't even lie to you. I mean, he said, how do you kill a clown? And he said, go for the jugular. He walked off the stage really quickly, and everyone's like, what? I can't hear you. What'd you say, Easy? So Easy's my loser. I just think a lot of it, what I saw out of Easy, yes, you root for him. He's been playing football for a couple years now. And he's from Nigeria.
He should be on fucking trial this morning. No.
But it was bad, man. He's a loser.
He should be on trial. Manslaughter. Second-degree murder. I don't give a damn what you do. put him in jail.
For that joke?
No.
It's a terrible
For
joke.
getting David Blough killed.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
he was getting
I
killed.
could have lined up at end and gotten to David Blough. I probably wouldn't have hurt him. But
Yeah, no,
Jesus.
David Blough was getting... He was getting
How
robbed.
as an offensive lineman, and who the hell am I? I've never weighed more than 250 pounds. I've never played a fucking offensive line. All I know is how do you engage like this? I know you've been playing football for a few years, bro, but you sit there looking like a dumbass in Hard Knocks. Who you laying down, dumbass? I don't know. Yourself, you fuck. That's who.
No, it was bad for Easy, man. I mean, it really was. I mean, I don't think anybody can say they're surprised he was cut. And I love how Hard Knocks gave him that last drive last week where he played well on that 8-minute drive in the fourth quarter. And then you see him last night, and he's given up, free sacks to Pittsburgh Steelers edge rushers. So I love it. But yeah, that's our first loser.
Tripolar says, "Am I a villain for wanting to see a clip of Eze, get cut on Hard Knocks?"
No, you're not, my
so
guy.
Bad.
You're
I think
not.
we all do.
We all do. We all do. And that's nothing personal, but at the same time, he looked bad. But another, I guess, winner I do want to point out, and we kind of already went through it, Aidan Hutchinson. Because, guys, let's be honest. I mean, it just confirms everything we've already believed to be true about Aidan Hutchinson, his work ethic, his motor. Those things are just reassured every single episode. And not even just the episodes of Hard Knocks. It's not like they're feeding us this free propaganda. It's really in game too. You watch the games, you see Aidan Hutchinson. So that's a winner for me.
He's legit.
The easy one is
He's
Aidan.
legit.
Yeah.
He's legit. You know, one of the winners, Jared Goff.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
He's had the best camp. He's been phenomenal. If you could attach a quarterback rating for Jared Goff, it's damn near perfect in camp. And I am very happy for him. Because, again, I told you the story. Last year comes into a bad situation. First-year head coach. No clarity. Anthony Lynn is his OC. Anthony Lynn is the same guy who wouldn't start Justin Herbert over Tyrod fucking Taylor. And it took the doctor fucking shanking Tyrod Taylor for them to start Justin Herbert over him. That's what Jared Goff had to work with last season. Getting traded, dumped by his 10 out of 10 girlfriend. Dumped. She goes on and dates a supermodel, a billionaire, and he's stuck dating some chick that, I don't know, works on 8 Mile on the corners that night. That's tough. But he looks a lot better. Much more confident. The weapons are there. Players making plays, giving him confidence. Oh, man, Jared Goff, a big winner. Big winner, Jeff.
I'll say another winner would be the clear Ben Johnson, because you get to see, again, Ben Johnson, how he communicates with players. That was refreshing to see. But I do want to speak on a loser. And it's how you, I guess, think about this as well. A loser for me would be Gerard Davis. I mean, this guy, and you saw it last night.
I want to see him get cut.
No, that's the guy that Adam does want to see get cut, too. That's someone that you saw in Aaron Glenn. I feel like the clips of Aaron Glenn talking about, I just expected something out of him, and I'm just not getting it, or I didn't get it. I feel like that was at Gerard Davis, personally. And another thing you got to see is, and I love how before this, when they cut Tim Boyle, the thing that came out was, we want a clear upgrade over, our backup quarterback. And then they signed Nate Sudfeld. I mean, it's up to you guys. Do you think he's a clear upgrade over David Blough? I don't know, nor do I care. But I think a loser would have to be David Blough, because the guy didn't play that bad, and he still was cut. So that would probably be a loser for me. Not that I think he's a loser, but that's the unfortunate of the situation. You got cut for Nate Sudfeld. So,
Mikey,
got to shout him out.
Winner or loser?
I would say a loser could be Jeff Okudah, because this was a big chance for him to make an impression on a lot of people, and they shied away from him a lot. You've seen a lot in that last preseason game. He made a couple breakups, a couple plays, but this was a real chance for him to win people over, and he really didn't have
I don't
the
think
cameras
his fault,
on.
though. I think the Lions made it mandatory with Hard Knocks. They're not going to show him. And he was the highest defensive rated player on the team for preseason.
But they mic'd him up.
It could have been better for him, so he can just kind of lay his head low and work, but it could have been better for him if the fans seen him working and seen everything he's going through at practice and seeing what he's trying to overcome. But
all right, guys, look, I really like you guys. Tripolar, shout out to Tripolar in the chat. Shout out to Hollywood, Steven, everybody in the chat this morning. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Easy joining us this morning. Guys, I swear to God, if you want to sit here and have a conversation and bitch and complain and question Brad Holmes over a goddamn backup, I swear to God, I'm not sure what to tell you this morning. I really don't. I don't know what to do. What are we doing here?
Yeah, we're nitpicking. I mean, listen.
A backup? If Dave,
that's what people do.
Shut up, Fish. If Brad Holmes drafted a quarterback, 3rd round, let's say, and cut him going into camp, boom, didn't make the roster. You know what? You want to start questioning Brad Holmes' ability to, quote, draft a quarterback? Be my guest.
Right.
We're not even there yet. He is yet to even attempt to draft one. So do me a favor. Can we not make a big deal about a backup? I'm going to say it again. A backup. And whether or not it was a rookie, whether or not it was Jeff, whether or not it was Sudfeld, Colin Kaepernick, I don't give a damn who it is. If this season you are turning to a backup quarterback, it is not a good thing. And most teams in the NFL are not equipped to lose their starting quarterback. Hell, I could say all. And again, there are a few anomalies that happen every few years. I doubt the Lions are the anomaly this year. So do me a favor, don't waste my time, please.
Might as well sign Tom Kennedy. He could be the backup.
God, when we get back, mailbag time. Get your questions in the chat. But before we go, I got to tell you about where I'll be getting my haircut all weekend long. That's at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. They're awesome stylists. Will take care of you like they take care of me, whether they want to trim up your beard. Hell, you want to clean up your hair, you want to go for a buzz cut, a fade. I don't give a damn what you do with your hair. All I know is the best people to do it for you do work at Lady Jane's. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
God damn it, Fish. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show. I wish you guys could hear Fish during the break dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
Calling Jeff a whore. Oh, my God. Fish, what's wrong with you, buddy?
Oh, Fish woke up and chose violence, man.
You okay?
I don't know. I think I'm fine.
Yeah, you're not.
I don't know.
Mailbag time will start with, let's see, Adam and Jeff. What would surprise you more? The Rams missed the playoffs or the Lions won a playoff game? Lions won a playoff game.
Yeah, Lions won a playoff game.
The Rams can easily miss the playoffs. It's called injuries.
Yeah, injured.
The Lions playoff win? Holy hell, that would be
different.
That would be very, very impressive. Do any of the cuts make the practice squad? I'm sure they do.
I think Pimpleton would be a nice one, a nice addition to the practice squad, or David Blough. I think he's a clear one.
Jesse asks a funny question. It's kind of rhetorical. Look, Mike Tannenbaum joined the Bottom Line, formerly the Bottom Line, I want to say a month ago, leading up to the draft, months ago actually, talking about how he would draft a quarterback every year. And, Jesse makes a great point. The dude got fired multiple times. Like, I don't think Mike Tannenbaum is the guy I want to be taking advice from.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, there's a point. There's some points.
Good dude, good man, good insight, but I'll pass on the info there. Let's see.
Yeah, I've never heard
Mailbag, would you guys take Goff only having 3,000 yards if it meant the running backs averaged 125 yards a game? I think that kind of plays itself out, Evan. I don't think that's my preference. If you're going to run the ball effectively, you're just going to limit the amount of times you throw the ball. But in a 17-game schedule, if he only throws 200 yards a game, that's 3,400 yards on the year. It's not difficult to throw 4,000 in today's NFL. The added game, the offense being what it is now, the league really pivoting all the rules in the offense's favor. Not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. If Stafford elbows go, the Rams are in trouble. His elbow's fine, guys.
Hey, I know we're doing Mailbag, but I want to ask you, did you see the Amazon ball?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, he threw that
This
thing
isn't real, right?
100 yards.
I think it's real.
No way in hell. They're changing the football for Thursday Night Football.
No, they're not changing the football. I think Amazon just came out with the football.
Did you see? But it's not going to be actually used.
No, God, no.
In NFL games, okay.
No,
Because I see these ads. I see Matthew. I see Russell Wilson using it.
Yeah, they're just trying to sell their product.
Yeah, just a promo.
Yeah,
Relax,
that's just like a steroid football that you can throw very far.
Okay.
It's like a Nerf ball, but a football version.
Yeah,
I guess.
relax.
I don't know.
Just take a deep
I hope I
breath.
said that correctly.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
Fletcher says, Adam, why didn't we draft Malik Willis? Fletch, how about you delete that comment before you lose your job? What would Goff need to do to prove himself as the franchise quarterback? See, that's the problem, Andrew. I don't believe he's a franchise quarterback. I do believe, though, he can be a very good bridge quarterback for you while you find a franchise quarterback.
Right.
There aren't many out there. You maybe get one every draft. And I think the number in the last 22 drafts, there have been 20, or excuse me, less than that. I believe 16 franchise quarterbacks. And then 20 quote-unquote hits. It's hard. Hard to find a quarterback, guys. That's why they miss so often. That's why I laugh at people when they tie their wagon to these 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round guys. Like, what are we doing? You can have optimism. You can be hopeful. But it's a long shot. It's a long shot. It's the hardest position to play in football.
It's the hardest position to get right as well.
Let's see what else we got here. Is the interior defensive line still a weakness, Jeff?
I don't know. I don't think it's as much of a weakness as it was prior. I guess the addition of Aiden Hutchinson. We'll see how Josh Pascal looks. Aleem McNeil. Those guys are 1 year older, 1 year more experienced. I actually think of this defense, that defensive line is the strong suit, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of question marks, obviously, about the linebacker core, the secondary, and I'm not questioning Amon-Ra, but Tracy Walker as well. But that defensive line, to me, personally, just my opinion, I think is a strong suit. And this, how many games they win is going to be based on that defensive line and this offense's offensive line. So it's going to be really important this year.
All right, question from Tripolar. Lions get new uniforms next year. Would you want to see a new logo as well? One that fits the new era? I'm going to say no. I actually like the current logo.
Maybe new unis, though.
Uniforms for sure.
Yeah.
I would pass on the new logos. Let's see. Are you hammering the over or under at 6.5? I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
And I already took the over. I already put a lot of money on it. 7 games, I think, is very realistic for this football team. I would be disappointed if they didn't. I wouldn't lose faith. But again, context matters. How does the season play out? How are they performing? Player development. Are the coaches making too many mistakes? What's going on in the field? Those are things you're going to be looking for. That's the context you're missing when we have conversations like this.
I like this one. Does Colorado State score a touchdown against Michigan this week?
Probably.
Yeah, they'll score 1 or 2.
I'm sure they go. I'm sure they'll get one.
30.5?
Yeah.
Holy hell,
Yeah,
man.
they'll win like 56-14.
And by the way, about that over question, me and Mike did a breakdown on our channel. Go check it out, Jeff and Gentry. Jeff and Gentry Show.
Yes, sir.
We both got 8-9, so we're hammering their over, right, Mike?
Yes.
We're crushing it.
Yes.
We're crushing it.
Question for over under. Hutch 8.5 sacks. Over under.
I have
Jeff?
him at 9.5.
Oh wow, Jeff.
I do.
I have him at 8.5.
I'm going high.
I have the push. I think 8.5 is very fair. I think he wins Defensive Rookie of the Year with it.
Me too.
I think he's going to
9.5
give you a lot of quarterback pressures. I think he'll be actually pretty integral in stopping the run. The kid's an animal. All for it. I think he's Defensive Rookie of the Year. I would take that bet as well. That's definitely a preseason bet I'd take. Let's see. Is it time for the Lions to get new team colors? No.
What?
No. What are we doing here? What do we do? Charles versus Islam. Who do you got, Jeff?
I personally like Islam, so I'm going Islam Makhachev. But Charles, he's got heart, man. You can't measure heart, and he's a former champ, so he really is the champ. So I'm still leaning Islam.
Dagestanis are
They're
killers,
built different,
man.
dude. I mean,
killers.
Really are. Really are.
Over under Amon-Ra 180.5 yards.
Slam the over.
Thank you, Jeff. I love the confidence.
Like the whack-a-mole pops up, slap it, dude. Slap that over. He's getting at least, I think, 950, 900. I think he'll cross 1,000. So that's me personally.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank Hard Knocks? I believe he's referring to this episode, Jesse is. Let's be honest, I would say a 7.1. I feel like they left out a lot of better stories, like J-Mo.
I think he meant. I'll rate it entirely so far. I'll say 7 as well, because there's some things that I got Ben Johnson. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Jared Goff. But I think there were some things they missed out on, like Jeff Okudah. That's a layup, dude. Like, and
Are
I
we
get
talking the entire series right now or last
the
night's
entire
episode?
series.
Okay.
Last night's episode was great. The entire series, I think there's some things you missed out on, and personally, I'm just not a fan of seeing players, them deciding who to cut when I know who they're going to cut. So I'm picky, so I'll go 7.
God damn it, easy.
Russian Muslims.
Oh, God. All right, let's see. Thinking ahead, Will Levis, C.J. Stroud, or Bryce Young? Right now, I can take the easy way out and say, let's see how the season plays out. But right now, I had to make a decision between the 3. I had no choice. I had to draft one of them.
I'm going to go Bryce Young.
Stroud.
I think I'm going to go Bryce Young.
Yeah, that's the guy I picked as my Heisman last year.
And look, if I'm honest with you, I know where the program they come from doesn't matter. Every quarterback makes their own case to be a starter in the NFL.
Right.
But Nick Saban, we all associate player development and coaching with Nick Saban. He's allowed Jalen Hurts to walk into the league, formerly.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he went to Oklahoma after. Tua Tagovailoa.
Say what you want.
He's not a bust.
Yeah, say what you want about him.
I would take Bryce Young between the 3 right now.
Yeah,
I
I would
do
agree.
get the argument for Will Levis, though. C.J. Stroud has a ton to work with at Ohio State. It's going to be tough for the teams at the top who they're going to take. That's it for today's show. Appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of your
Drop
Wednesday,
a like
Jeff.
before you leave.
Jeff, it's good to have you back.
Always, man. Love it.
Loving the week so far. Mike, appreciate you filling in today for Westfall.
Gentry.
Much better than Westfall. We might have to fire him. Shout out to everybody. We're out of here. You have a good rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Check out Big D Energy at 11.